If you're a real estate agent looking for unique ways to generate opportunities, this is the episode for you. My friend Jimmy Burgess is going to unpack what I believe to be the number one strategy to generate listing leads right now, today. In fact, you'll be able to start doing this. You'll be able to execute on this strategy as soon as you hit the stop button. He's going to unpack this entire strategy, scripts, what to say, how to say it, what to put in the subject line, the tools that he uses, everything. So join me. Let's go listen to Jimmy. All right, Jimmy, welcome to the show. Are you ready to collaborate with Cole and help other agents?
I've been waiting for this my whole life, Cole.
Oh my
I am
gosh.
ready. I'm ready
I
to
feel super
collaborate with
special.
Cole. Yeah, this is gonna be fun, man. I love, obviously, there's a lot of people doing some good stuff for agents out there, but very
Yeah.
few are doing as much good stuff as you are. So I just
Well,
appreciate,
thank you.
obviously, from an agent having a lender that you can depend on and that you know the integrity and that they're really looking out for the best interests of the clients is so vitally important. So just appreciate everything you do for agents and for the industry as a whole, my brother.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. And that, for our friends listening, was an unsolicited plug. Promise you, did not ask for that. So that was
I
from the
was
heart.
watching
And
your face. You were surprised I was doing it. So I don't know why. I mean, I appreciate you.
man, I really do appreciate that. Friends, after listening today to me and Jimmy, to our conversation here, yeah, I promise you, you're going to have a blueprint for his easy to implement strategy where you can just, I mean, as soon as you stop listening today, you're going to be able to execute on this. So I am really excited for him to peel the curtain back, but he's not going to do it yet. Jimmy, I want to make sure that we cover three things today. You've done something really special and really unique to generate listings, to generate buyers that are leading to closed transactions, some cold hard cash. And man, I know that our friends listening, they're going to benefit from it. They're going to be excited about it. And more importantly, they're going to be able to execute on it immediately, right?
Yes.
So three things. First, before you peel back the curtain, I would love for you to share with our friends that the results of this easy to implement strategy that you started 4 years ago, 3
Yeah,
years ago,
it's been almost
somewhere?
5 years ago now, but we've been doing this now for 5 years in markets all across the country with different agents, and the results are very similar. But hey, I want to just give you mine.
Yeah, yeah,
So this was the first time. Obviously, you would hope it's gotten better,
right,
which we'll share a little
right.
bit. But just to give you an idea, 30-minute a day strategy activity that I did for 72 times in 72 days in a 3-month period, just every day that I worked. It ended up being a $3,600 per hour activity. And so the main thing that I was upset with at the end was that I didn't do more of them. And so we're still seeing this. I mean, I had a text yesterday from somebody that's getting some results. And so, yeah, man, I'm excited to share this because I don't know of any activity right now that you can do that's going to generate more business. And, we talk about this, Cole, you and I have talked about this before. I mean, in our business, you got to be eating and setting the table for the next meal.
Yeah.
And this is the strategy that will do both of those.
Very good. And I'm going to come back to you on that because I know there's a few more results that I definitely want to cover. And I think the reason this is important is our friends who are listening right now, guys, you're going to hear the real world potential of doing exactly what Jimmy's going to share with you. And I guarantee you, you're going to be blown away. He kind of broke down his hourly rate per se from that strategy, but when he shares the volume, the business that it generated, you're going to be excited. Secondly, Jimmy, I want you to share maybe your mindset behind this strategy. When I first talked to you about this, maybe 2 years ago now, I remember, and I'm looking in my old notes here, you were very intentional with the tools that you used, the scripting, the delivery method, the follow-up, just everything. Like you were very intentional with it. So I'm going to ask you here in just a minute to just kind of break down that process so our friends listening can take notes and they can execute on it immediately. And then lastly, I'm going to ask you, because you are a coach, right? I mean, you're helping agents do this exact strategy in addition to other things all across the country, which is amazing. I mean, you're the 3 years running, you're the most read contributor for Inman magazine. I mean, that's pretty amazing by itself. So I would love for you to coach someone listening just through how do you get started? What's the first thing you need to do? First action item.
Yeah,
Does that work for you?
Yeah, and I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna. I mean, I feel like we've been teasing for this, but what the strategy is, if that's okay now, to kind of just unveil what we're doing.
Wait, hold on. No, what I want them to know, because when you shared with me the first time you did it, and I know you've done it several times after that, but the first time you did it, when you were just kind of fumbling through it and trying to kind of figure it out, what did that lead to in terms of volume, listings, close it, just
Yeah.
walk through those numbers with us.
Yeah, it was over $11 million worth of listings, and basically that was the 90 days that I did the activity, and the following 90 days after that, because as we know in real estate, sometimes the seeds we plant today we don't harvest for a 60, 90-day time period.
Yeah.
But it was dramatic. I mean, it was one of those I never could have imagined it was going to generate these types of results, and so that was one of those now where the numbers just continue to show that this is an activity that absolutely generates results.
So, and that's something else that I remember from our conversation is you're a big fan of moving in seasons, right? Because it's really hard. It's not even realistic, honestly, for us to charge hard 365 days a year,
Correct.
right? So that's another thing that I really love about this is it's not like you're telling somebody you need to make this change tomorrow. You need to start this diet tomorrow, and you can never let up, right?
Right.
So you've got a season, a segment of time in there, so you can measure your results and then kind of take a breath, review it, evaluate it, and then go back to it. But what is huge here, and I hope that our friends caught this. So you did this for 90 days. And I think you said you spent about 30 minutes a day, right?
Yeah.
And let's just say you took the weekends off and, whatever. So let's just say 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week for 90 days. And that led to, did you say 11 million?
That's right. Over 11 million in listings.
11 million in listings. And I think I remember you saying it was like 9 million in actual closed business. And
Correct.
so I think another way of looking at this is, would I spend a total of 30 hours? Would I do 30 hours of work for 225,000 in GCI?
That's right.
I mean, I think I'd probably sign up for that.
Yeah,
Right?
it was, absolutely, yeah. And the thing is I think you hit the nail on the head. It's finding a pace where you can have peace. This is not something where it just needs to be, it will wear you out. It's not going to wear you out because you're just going to do one a day in reality.
Yeah, absolutely.
You may want to do a few a day to get started and really kind of prime the pump, so to speak, and get your momentum going.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's just finding a consistent pace that you can have peace with.
Yeah. So if you answered that question, like would you put in 30 hours of work for 225,000 GCI? And that's on I think I use like a 2 or a 2.5% commission rate, something like that.
Yeah.
If you answered no, then turn this interview off right now. This is not for you, right? You're already doing something else. Awesome, kudos.
Right.
If you answered yes, I'm going to encourage you to get out your pad and pen, or if you're me, get out your Remarkable 2, your digital ink pad, because my friend Jimmy is going to walk you through exactly what you need to do and what you'll need in order to do it. He's going to break it down. So, Jimmy, now the suspense is killing all of us. What is the strategy?
Man,
You are
thank you.
free to reveal.
Yeah, thank you. Well, this is the video unsolicited CMA. And so let me give you the mindset behind this
Wait, I want to make sure they caught that.
Yeah.
So this isn't just your CMA a day, because I know some eyes are kind of rolling thinking, okay, yeah, I need to let
This
my
is
neighbor know how much. This is a video CMA a day. So why
Yeah.
is video important?
Yeah, because when I was thinking about what is it that people want, well, they typically want to know, homeowners want to know their value, but there's so many ways that we've done this in the past that it's almost like a just sold card. If you don't change the just sold card up and they see it, yeah, they're going to recognize it, but it's going to lose its effectiveness. And so the video side is how can I stand out as an agent that's doing something different, that'll be memorable, that is not something that they receive and they put in the trash that they can come back to, which I'm going to talk specifically on why we do that and how to make it where they can come back to it. But basically what I did is that I utilized this, and I made a list before I started. I made a list of those folks that had told me that they would consider selling in the next year or two. It was people that I had been buyers of mine that now were homeowners. It was people in farm neighborhoods that I'd spoken to about their value in the past. It was people that I'd met at open houses that were homeowners in a neighborhood. It was neighbors. It was even some family. And it was basically, I wanted to make this list. So I wrote this list out. And then what I did is I kind of ranked them. And I want to pick the low-hanging fruit first. So I started with the most likely to sell group and worked my way down. And let me just say this. If you don't have, I had over 100 at that time, but I've been in the business for a while. One's better than none. Start wherever you are and with as many as you've got. If it's neighbors, that's great. If it's family members, it's fine. If it's people that you've had as buyers in the past, that's fine. If you don't have sellers that you've talked to, it's a great time to start building that database of those owners and having some of those conversations, because obviously the more communication you've had with these folks prior to this, obviously the more effective this is going to be. So I'm going to kind of just break this down the way that we looked at it. I wanted to record my screen. You could do this. I used BombBomb, and I'll tell you specifically why in just a minute. But you can use Loom or Zoom Party of One and just record your screen and do this. But basically, you're going to be down in the bottom portion of this, and you're going to be showing and going through your screen. And I started with 3 tabs, okay, in particular to make this flow as the best way possible. I wanted to have it where it was 3 to 5 minutes. I didn't want it to be long and drawn out. I wanted to get to the point with it. Yeah. And basically, I wanted to make sure a couple of things were in place. Number one is that every single time the email subject line was the same. So it would be address, 123 Main Street, valuation update, 234 Live Oak Avenue, valuation update. It was the same type, and there's a reason why, because I was going to reference that in the video, because we mentioned about the $11+ million I listed, but 18 months after, and I'm going to tell you exactly the wording on that in just a second, that I utilized in the video, 18 months after the pandemic hit initially, so this has been almost 5 or 6 years ago, when that hit, I had not reached out to any of those folks because I had shifted over to the executive role that I was in. And all of a sudden, I started seeing BombBomb. This is one reason why I liked it. It lets me know how many times they watch it. It lets me know when somebody plays it. It pops up on my computer. That would have been great timing for one to pop up. But basically what it does is it tells me if somebody's watching that video. Well, 18 months in, the pandemic hits. All of a sudden, these people started looking at this video again. Of course, I called them, and I listed an additional $5 million. 18 months after doing this 30-minute-a-day activity of doing these unsolicited video CMAs. Now here's the flow. 3 tabs I mentioned. I had Google Earth pulled up with the address, not punched in yet, but queued up. Second one was my CMA. You can use whatever you want. I used the basics of basically I just used a screen where I just showed the active pending sold for the houses that were like that one, or condos if I was doing condos, on my MLS.
You just kept it simple.
I kept it simple. You can you can do it as much as you want to add to that, you can. I kept it very simple. So I know you can do it at or better than what I did it. The last tab is an estimated seller net, and I'll mention that in just a second. So it starts, obviously, as the video is doing its countdown, 3, 2, 1.
So I'm looking at my computer right now, and I have 3 tabs open.
That's correct. I would have 3 tabs open up at the top. The first one is going to be Google Earth. It has the address in there. I press record, or record my screen, with whichever, depending on the app you're using. When I press record, it does a countdown, 3, 2, 1 to go live on BombBomb. Well, as it goes live, I have the address already queued up in Google Earth, but I don't have it punched in. Second it goes live, I press enter, because what it does is that means that the second the video starts, it comes in from outer space right up on top of the roof of that house. That made a huge difference because with BombBomb, it is embedded. So it has that GIF or GIF or whatever you want to call it, it's embedded in there. So literally our open rates
it's like a little thumbnail in the body of your email when they open it up.
That's exactly right.
It's an animated thumbnail, yeah.
That's right. And so when they see that it's coming in from outer space, it just captures their attention. They see it, it comes down to the house. It just draws them in. Also, very specific. It's their home address, valuation update. That was very click-through-ish,
Personal.
I guess you could say. Yeah, it was very personalized. Yeah. And so we were getting, on the initial one, over 80% open rate on these things. The first one, we got 90%. As we got down the list, it went down somewhat. But on average, it was over 80% of open rates as we would send groups of these out, okay, over time. Now, once they open it up, I'm going to start, it's coming down on top of their house, and this is kind of the language. Hey, it's Jimmy. It's been a little while. I was just thinking about you guys and wanted to give you an updated idea of the value of your home as of January 2025. Now, listen, if any time in the future you're curious about where your value was in January of 2025, all you're going to have to do is go back into your email and just go into the search and punch in your address or valuation update, and it's going to tell you exactly. You'll be able to see this video again where you can see exactly where it was. Now, I was queuing that, okay? Yeah. I did it at the end also, which once I get to the end, I'll mention that. That's what generated the additional $5 million worth of listings, and all of those sold because it was pandemic time. You know what I mean? It was like everything.
So tell me again exactly what generated the additional $5 million?
Because all of a sudden, those folks that I'd not talked to in 18 months, I had put in the video. If you're curious about where your value is, or you'd like an updated idea of this, all you got to do is go into your email and search for your address or valuation update, and this video will come up.
So this was a follow-up email that you sent out?
No, it's inside the first. It's inside the actual video that I'm recording to them. Okay, and I'm just queuing that. Okay, and what happened is I had queued them that way, and they remembered it because it's different. If I had just given them, the CMA day and just given them something, they would have thrown it in a drawer or they would have thrown it away. Yeah. Never thought of it again. But because of this uniqueness, they ended up coming back to this. So the pandemic hits, and all of a sudden I start seeing these whoop on my laptop.
They're bookmarking these emails or saving them, basically.
Or they're going back in and searching in their email form, And so all of a sudden I started seeing these notifications, which I love from BombBomb, where it tells me that. It was telling me 18 months after this, so-and-so just watched your valuation update video. I haven't even thought of them in 18 months.
You're like,
and
who?
Of course
what?
I called them.
Wow.
Of course I called them.
Yeah.
So it kind of cued me that way.
So I'm just curious because they don't know that you got the notification.
No, they don't.
How did that phone call go?
Yeah, it's just like, hey, it's been a long time, and I just checking in with everybody with everything. This was the pandemic time, just checking in with everybody to see how you're doing, and just see if there's anything that you guys need any help with.
So it's just kind of a coincidence that you followed up with.
Yeah, and look, some of them knew it. They said, "Oh, you see me? I was watching the video." I said, "Yeah, it tells me." You know what I mean? So, but the majority of them, they were going to call probably anyway. And so I'll just say, hey, listen, what are you guys thinking? This market is kind of going crazy right now, and that was the conversation back then. What we're having now when they do these things back up is we're either contacting them, or if it's been a year, we just out of the blue do an updated one and send it to them as quick as possible, and then we follow up with a phone call the next day.
Okay.
Because then we see them watch the new one. Okay. But listen, pick the phone up, talk to people. You'll be amazed. I mean, nobody's going to get upset, that you're talking to them. I mean, there were a few that were like, wow, I mean, I was literally just watching your video. Wow, that's crazy.
Really? Huh? No kidding.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, the thing is like, it's the technology giving us the ability to serve at a higher level.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, that was how we did the additional one. So let me get back to the foundational part. It's coming in from outer space. I'm on the screen. I say, hey, it's Jimmy. It's been a little while. I was just thinking about you guys, and I'm just going to go through kind of where some of the homes that are for sale now and those that have recently sold, like yours, to get you an updated idea of the valuation of your home. Hey, listen, if you're ever curious about where your value was January 25, you can always come back into your email, go into your search in the email, and just punch in your address or valuation update, and this will come back up, and you can just take a look at that. And then if you want me to, I can give you an updated one anytime in the future. Then I go into it. I then go straight into the next tab that I have pulled up, which are in my case, this was the MLS with all the active pending solds. Now I don't have to memorize any of this because I've got the numbers right there in front of me.
Yeah.
So literally I'm saying, hey, you'll notice here, there are 5 3-bedroom homes like yours in your neighborhood that are currently for sale. You can see the price range on these and the size of these, and I'm pointing these things out. Also, you'll notice that there have been 2 sales in the last 3 months, and those sold for this price per square foot. Now, if we look, you can kind of see the range of where the ones that are for sale are and the ones that actually sold, where those prices are. So I walk them through those things, the differences, if there are, between their house and those, or whatever it is, just some subtle things. And then I simply say, hey, listen, because I haven't been in your house in a little bit, I'm going to give you a range of value, because odds are you've either done some improvements or maybe your house is like mine and there's a little bit of deferred maintenance. Either way, I'm going to give you a range here of value. And so I'm going to give you this $50,000 range. But let me just say this. If you're curious about exactly what your house would sell for, take me 5 minutes to walk through it, and I can tell you exactly what it'd sell for. Now, that's a subtle call to action. It's almost like a whistle. It's like a dog whistle to the seller. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're thinking about selling, this one's for you, call me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not doing it in a flagrant way of, do you want to list your house? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I just simply go through and I say, once I've gone through the valuation, then I go to my next tab, which is an estimated seller net. Now it's disclosured out, you know what I mean? Of like, hey, this doesn't include your mortgage. There will be some additional closing costs that'll be minor, but this will give you an idea of the range of where your value is with the standard typical closing costs. So basically it's the price, commission in our area, doc stamps is what the seller typically pays. If it's title insurance or whatever the typical closing costs are for a seller.
Yeah.
And then it's just, and basically then on that I say, so here's what you would typically look at. So you can take this number and you could subtract out, look, it's not probably going to be more than 1% additional closing costs you're going to have. But if you take additional 1% closing costs here and you take out your mortgage, this is going to give you a good idea of about what you would net out on your sale. Then I wrap
Who
up.
wouldn't want to know that, right?
That's right. That's right. And it's coming in a unique way. Plus, every time they're sitting there, it's like, listen, we talk about that a picture's worth 1,000 words. Mm-hmm. Well, video is frame after frame after frame. And so it's like 1,000 words every, like this. It's like millions of words because it connects you with people, especially when you like I'm looking at you right now. That's different than me looking in the camera and talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So always look into the camera when you're talking because it's connecting right in with them. And so when I would do that, then at the end, I would again say, hey, listen, I hope this is valuable for you guys. If there's anything I can do or be a resource for you guys in any way, don't hesitate to reach out. And remember, if you're ever curious in the future about where your value was in January of 2025, just go into your email and go into the search bar and punch in your address or valuation update, or just reach out to me and I'll be glad to get you an updated idea of where your value is in the future.
So you've cued that twice for them, so they're remembering that. Yeah, I'm
exactly
going to hang on to this video.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what really drove the future value of that because it keeps you top of mind. And if you're using BombBomb and it's telling you when they do watch it again, that's very valuable because now we're setting the stage where in the future I'm going to get notified if somebody goes back to any of those videos. Well, when you start doing these and you do this consistently for the season or for continuous, because what we've got people doing now is they do it for a season, but then they take the people that responded or the people that watched them or the people they talked to with follow-up, because here's what we would do on the follow-up. We'd watch to see if they watched it. That's another thing. BombBomb told me if they clicked play. And it told me how many times. So if somebody clicked and played that thing 5 times, guess who's getting the first phone call I make the next day?
Oh, yeah.
It's those folks because it's low-hanging fruit. If they didn't click through, what we would do is we would simply send an additional email with a text. We'd send the email and say, I sent this to you yesterday. Not sure if I got you a link that you could open or I sent you the right link. Okay? Here's the link. And then we would text them and say, hey, listen, I sent you an email yesterday. Not sure if you got it, but I spent about 30 minutes getting an updated idea of where the value of your home is. I'd love your feedback on if it's helpful or not.
Oh, I like it. Yeah.
So that gave us the ability to really kind of almost make sure that those things got open, and we were over 95%, after doing that second email with text.
So the gold is in the follow-up and the follow-through.
It is,
right?
But the beauty of it is we weren't wondering whether they played it. BombBomb, and that's why I liked it so much, was actually it was the tool that was telling us whether they opened it, and not only did they open it, but how many times.
Yeah.
And
for how long, right?
That's exactly right. Yes.
Yeah.
And so you could kind of gauge. I mean, it's literally like playing poker with the cards up. I mean, you know what their hand is. If they're watching that thing 7 times, they're very, very serious about either getting a home equity line of credit and tapping into some of the equity they have, or they're getting ready to sell it. And both of those are real estate activities that agents can benefit from and help. Obviously.
And that's one of the things that I do like about BombBomb. I also have Loom. There's several different ones.
There are,
There's a benefit with Loom because you can get more customized on the screen size and whatnot. But with BombBomb, like you said, you get those notifications. And
the data is invaluable. Yeah, it's invaluable.
Huge.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I don't even remember. I haven't looked recently, but I think BombBomb's got like a 14-day free trial. So if somebody's going to start this strategy, I would say at least try it, with that and see. And I think I pay, I don't know what I pay, $40-$50 a month. But I'm going to tell you, I mean, think about how much money it generated me
Yeah.
just from that one activity.
And I
So,
remember you were kind enough to share a couple of examples with me 2 years ago
yeah,
whenever it was. Would it be okay if we included some links
sure,
for
yeah,
our friends
absolutely.
listening to? Okay, so we're going to
Yeah.
include those in the links here, and you can see exactly what Jimmy is talking about.
And Cole, I'll
Put
send
it into
you also
practice.
a link to a video that I did where I was recording my screen showing how to do it
Oh
too.
wow,
So
okay.
they can go back and do that as well on top of those other examples. Okay.
That's probably the best way to combat Jim Rohn's law of diminishing intent. And
Exactly.
I don't know
I
if you're
know.
familiar with that or not, but we would go to these big industry
Yeah.
conferences and we get all pumped up, take copious notes, get to the back of the room, we buy that box that has the thing in it, right? And then we get back home and life sets in, and we've got an inspection that's terrible, and an appraisal came in low, and we're fighting fires, and we never take the cellophane off the box, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because now we're on our own. We got to figure this thing out. But you're going to take the time to send somebody an actual walkthrough. This is exactly how you do it. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, I would just say this is one of those. Just take action. You know what I mean? This is something you can do immediately when we get done. I want you to think about, and I think if most agents can think, who is that person that is probably the most likely to list with you next? Take the time and send them one of these.
I
I
think it
just
would wow the pants off of somebody,
Oh, it
honestly.
absolutely. That's the thing is the folks that very few people have ever received anything like this, so it stands out like crazy. And then typically what happens is when you follow up with the phone call, you're amazed at the feedback you get. Man, that was
So
different.
what do you say to the
How did you
agent?
get it out of space onto my house? Some of it
Yeah.
we get.
What do you
And
say to the agent that's listening right now and they're thinking to themselves, I already have an automated deal that goes out once a month that gives them an idea of what their
we do
home's
too.
worth.
We do too. We do it. What we do is in those cases, because like we use HomeBot.
Yeah,
That's what I've used and a lot of our agents that we work with use, which is phenomenal. It has a
I love it.
hundred, it has 100 data points. Obviously, it's one that obviously gives information as a partnership with your lender on equity and what you can do with that, and it's the most complete report I've seen. But the problem is it isn't automated. It's as good as I've seen, but it's still automated.
Yeah.
And so what we always say is hey, I know you've been receiving the emails from us with updated values each month, but those are electronic. So I
Yeah.
want to put a little personal touch to this, and so I'm going to take the time to really break this down, and so that you can see the changes and differences in what it is in real life versus that, or it's going to confirm where that number is on what you're getting from HomeBot.
Yeah. So let's give our friends some just practical steps on what they need to do to kind of put this into practice. If someone's never done this before, which I'm raising my hand, I think the majority of us listening right now have never tried this before. What's the first thing they should do?
Do everything you would do on a normal CMA, and then have your 3 tabs. Have the CMA up on one tab, have the go ahead and pre-pull up the tab, and just press record. Whether that be on Zoom, Loom, or on BombBomb, record one, and don't even stop. Send it out. Yeah, this is the problem. Is most people are like, man, I don't want to send that out. I mean, look at my bald head. You know?
Yeah.
So this is the thing. Is like you just have to press send. You just have to do it. Press send, and you'll be amazed at these results.
Almost like if you were going to do a Zoom call with that actual prospect or past client, I mean, you're already on. You would, if they wanted to do a Zoom call and talk to you about listing their home, you jump on Zoom like that, right? So what's the
Exactly.
difference?
It is the same.
Yeah.
And what I would say too is you're going to get better at these things too. Your first listing appointment you ever went on is not going to be the best listing appointment you ever have. Just as physical fitness takes consistent exercise, it's the same way here. Your business to grow and you to get better at these and to get more effective at these is just doing the reps. I'll promise you the 50th one of these I did was way better than the first. But it's crazy.
How long did it take you, maybe the first one or two that you were doing, just to have everything set up and all that.
And trying to be perfect. I will tell you that's the biggest thing that freezes people is, and it was for me too. It'd take 45 minutes. Well, then what I did is I was like, man, this is ridiculous. So then what I would do is I would do a little bit of the prep the night before. So I would have a tab pulled up to Google Earth. I would have a tab already pulled up with the CMA. So that the next day when I got to work, I had it all in place, and all I had to do was press record and go through the numbers.
That's a good idea.
And so that helped from
Preparation.
an efficiency standpoint. The other thing is like when I first started, the first one took me about 45 minutes. Then I got to a point where it was like, okay, I was doing group ones. So if you've got a subdivision, for instance, where you've got a lot of people you sold into that was like a tract built that has similar floor plans, I had some condos where I had 3 or 4 condos in there. They were basically the same floor plans. Once I pulled the comps up, I was group shooting these things. So literally, like, you know, if you're in a condo or you're in a house that's the same floor plan, literally I've got everything pulled up. I press record and I say, hey, Cole, it's Jimmy. It's been a little while. I wanted to give you an update on where your home, you know, where the value of your home might be. And so I've taken a little time to record this. Then after I shoot that one and I send it to you, for instance, while I've got the comps pulled up, I go ahead and shoot 2 more for people in that neighborhood. And then I've got the next couple days worth of stuff done. So when I'm doing that, those didn't run on average, you know, they're 3 to 5 minute recordings. It'd take me 10 minutes total prep on all, you know, for each of those. So, you know, I mean, I'm talking about, I can do, you know, one every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So think of it that way too, where you can start doing it in bulk if an opportunity is there. So if you're going to do multiple ones in the same neighborhood, shoot them at the same time while you got all the comps pulled up and while it's fresh in your mind.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Or if it's like a farm neighborhood and you know some people in that neighborhood, right? They don't actually have to be past clients. They could be prospects, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not a bad idea. And to combat the perfectionism in us, right? I heard something recently that perfectionism is procrastination masquerading as quality control. And I was like, that hit hard.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. So just record it and click send and wait to get notifications, basically.
Yeah, you're going to absolutely. You're going to be. I'm telling you, you will get results if you do this. Now, listen. This is the law of averages. If you do 5 of these and you don't get a result and you're like, that didn't work, I'm telling you, if you keep doing them, it's going to work. I got a text yesterday from somebody that I coach and mentor a little bit. He had started doing this 14 days ago and had done 12 of them over those 14 days, and he's got 2 listing appointments.
Wow.
I talked to another person that said they did it for 30 days, basically. So they were doing 5, you know, so basically they did 20, what is that? That was 4 weeks. So they did 20 of them, got nothing. The 21st one, it was like they broke the dam. The next 3 gave them opportunities to have conversations. 2 of them were potential listings. One was actually somebody that they were like, hey, it's funny you sent this. It's not time for us, but my wife's father passed away. The mom's actually downsizing, and so they're wanting to sell that. Can you come give them an idea on this one? So it's not just the house you're doing. I actually had one that really helped me because one of the people that I sent to was actually an HOA manager for a condo, and he sat back and said, "Man, this thing is amazing. Do you mind if I share this with the HOA?" And I was like, "Give me a second." Yeah.
Let me check. Okay.
And so that ended up giving me 3 additional conversations that ended up being 2 additional listings as well. So, you know, I mean, look, if you do, it's like everything. You don't know where it's going to come from, but you know if you're consistent, you're going to get some results. And just be consistent with this. And again, it just goes back to the core value of when you provide unexpected value, you get unexpected results. And so this is one of those that I don't know any better way that you can give people what they truly want, which is an understanding of where their value is. You can give it in a unique way that keeps it memorable for you. And again, like we said before, you're going to get the opportunity to eat right now, but you're also going to be setting the table for the next meal as well.
Yeah, and that's true. And this unsolicited CMA a day, video that you're doing, it's more of you're sharing value. You're giving them value. It's not like you're trying to close on them or anything. There's some little subtleties with your intentional scripting, but this is just value. I'm just sharing this with you, and they're going to hold on to that. They're going to hang on to that.
Yeah, Absolutely. They don't forget it. As that 18-month example I gave 18 months later where I generated those, because you have to understand, I did not do any follow-up after that, after the initial ones for 18 months, and they called me, basically. Some of them just I called after I saw that they had seen the thing, but majority of those reached out to me.
Very cool, very cool. And we're going to include not only just a couple of examples of what Jimmy has sent out, but we're also going to include a link to him recording himself talking to you,
Right.
just kind of walking you through step by step on how to do that. So,
Yeah,
Jimmy, I appreciate
absolutely.
that. That is so gracious of you to share that
Yeah.
with us.
You'll just have that like either in the show notes or down in the description of the video down below. I'll tell you too, if you want to also, anybody that wants these, with writing for Inman, what's great about that is it kind of gives you a snapshot of what's working right now as far as the amount of reads, what trends on there,
Okay.
as far as the articles on there. And so the last 5 articles that have trended #1 on Inman for the week that they did, what I did is I put this together, and basically it was like, it ranges from everything from 7 chat GPT prompts. I took the article and put it in a PDF along with a video that explains the strategy. Then I did one that was 25 Instagram people that everybody should follow, 12 example direct mails, blueprint for developing a listing machine business, and then also how to structure your business to have your best year. All of that is there, and that is when what was the title on that we did? It was the best stuff from Jimmy, I believe it is.
Yeah, Jimmy's best stuff or best stuff from Jimmy.
Best stuff from
Best
Jimmy.com.
stuff from
Just type that
Jimmy.com.
in. It'll take you there, and basically you can just grab those PDFs and those things as well. Hopefully that'll be of value to somebody as well.
Very cool, very cool. All right, I got a quick 3-question lightning round for you. All right?
Okay.
3 quick questions. What's your favorite tech tool that you're using that other agents need to know about?
Come on, man. I just spent Bomb is I know.
Yeah. I kind
Listen,
of
there's a
thought that
lot of,
might be it.
I'll tell you this. Bomb is it for this. Man, if you're not on the Chat GPT train, and that was what I did in that. I mean, in understanding how to utilize it right now, it is creating so much efficiency in my business, and it is taking mundane tasks and turning them that would have taken a while into no time. So absolutely, I would say obviously Bomb. And not just for this. I mean, I use it for explaining contracts. I'm recording my screen, going through contracts. I'm doing all those things. But on top of Bomb, you gotta take advantage of this. I mean, this thing is revolutionary. What's going to happen? I believe. And look, I don't think ChatGPT is going to replace professional agents, but I absolutely do believe those that learn how and utilize it to its full potential will outperform those that don't in the coming years.
Yeah, it's like having an unpaid assistant.
Multiple ones.
Yeah, who might be smarter than yourself.
And a marketing, director, and all of those things. It's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, I just used it right before our call. As you know, my wife and I are going to Sayulita, Mexico
Yes.
tomorrow. We're going to do a little surf, a little climb and stuff. And so I was thinking, what are some other things we can do? So I just typed in, create a 4-day itinerary for me and my wife. Oh, create an adventurous 4-day itinerary for me and my wife in Sayulita, Mexico. I mean, it had all kinds of stuff I don't even think about.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Let's jump to a must follow. Who is, in your opinion, a must follow agent right now on whichever social platform that you think others would benefit from by following them?
Other than Cole Holmes,
Other than Cole Holmes, other than Aqua Mortgage Man.
Okay, that's exactly right. So I'm going to give you an agent, and then I'm also going to give you somebody that I think is putting out. I'm going to give you 2 people that are putting out a ton of good stuff. My buddy Jimmy Mackin. I mean, his handle is he's on a mission to be the most valuable follow for real estate agents on Instagram.
How do you spell Mackin?
Mackin.
Okay.
And just phenomenal. Everything he's doing is phenomenal. Another leader out there, Sharon Srivatsa, I think he's got a couple 100,000 followers on Instagram, and he just gives out so many different great ideas. And that's SHARRAN, and then it's SRIVATSAA, I believe.
We'll also include this in the description as well.
Yeah, those are two leaders that are out there. As far as agents to follow right now, gosh, there's some great ones. There's a bunch of different ones. I'll give you a couple that are I'm gonna give you one that's a smaller one because I mean, obviously, some of these you can get. I got 25 in that email. I just did this. So, a guy that I really like right now, and he and I did a video on buyer brokers that's had over 75,000. He's got the best, as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the best salespeople and technique people that is out there. Is Andrew Undem at Undem Undem, I believe. Also, another one is Jason Cassidy out of San Diego. Jason does some amazing stuff. And then Move Me to Texas, which is Katie Day. She's pretty amazing as well. And just, I mean, look, I think between those three, you're going to get a diversity of the type of content they do. That agents, these are all producing agents that are doing some really amazing stuff.
Man, I'll tell you what, I listened to or watched your interview with Andrew Undem, and from a lender's perspective, I was taking notes for things I could incorporate into my business. That is a phenomenal interview that you did with him.
Yeah, he's great. He's great, man. He's got some great stuff.
Absolutely awesome, and we'll include links in the description down below. Okay,
Great.
last but not least, we got to wrap up here for you. What's maybe a stat or a trend, something that you're using or incorporating in your buyer-seller consultations to maybe help kind of move them forward?
Yeah, I think, and it's not even as much on those types. I'll tell you what I'm really watching. The trend that I'm seeing is that across the country, we saw this, and we saw our friends from from Keeping Current Matters, along with RedX. They came out that there were somewhere in the neighborhood of over 45,000 listings that expired nationwide the first week of January 2025.
45,000?
45,000. They went back and looked at January of 2024, that first week, and there were 43,000, I think it was. And on top of that, RedX did the research and found that over half of those did not relist and did not sell. So I think there's a huge opportunity out there. And one of the stats that RedX gave that then Keeping Current Matters put together, man, those guys over there, David Childers is another great follow on Instagram. But basically what they did is of those that did relist, what they showed was those that relisted with the same agent, 51% sold. So 49% of them that relisted with the same agent did not sell.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Over 70% of those that listed with a new agent actually did sell. So if you're out there and you're looking, so that's a 40%
That's good data to have.
So it's a 40% difference. So what we're doing now is a lot of folks that are talking, working with these expired listings, because look, we're coming back to a more normalized market. There's going to be opportunities. I know there's pockets of the where the inventory is still tight. But typically what we're doing is one of two things with this. Number one is if we're going back and doing the research from those that are 6 to 12-month-old expired listings, this is all we're doing. We're going in and we're pulling it up. It expired. We're just clicking on the history for that listing to see if it's relisted or it's sold. We click on on the tax roll number to make sure that it hadn't transferred also, in case it wasn't in MLS and it was off market. And then we're making a list of all of those that didn't sell in that time period. And we're calling those folks, and we're just simply saying, we're not using the word expired, obviously. We're basically calling and saying, hey, this is Jimmy Burgess, realtor with whoever you're with. I'm calling because I saw that you took your place off the market about 8 months ago. And here we are in the first of 2025. We are absolutely seeing activity pick up now. Just curious if you guys, what the plans are for your place this year. And then just be quiet, okay? Now, the thing is that the expired listings that are happening now are getting tons of calls. But those calls from 6, 8, 12 months ago are not getting any calls because we're lazy. Agents are lazy. And they stop if they don't get it listed. And so this is low-hanging fruit. I know I mentioned that earlier, but it's opportunity to start having some conversation with some sellers. And you want to know who, you're like, well, I don't know who I could do these unsolicited CMAs. After you get done with them, just say, hey, listen, if it's okay with you, I'd love to send you over kind of a updated.
What a great tie-in. Yeah.
And you just tie it in that way, okay? Those are great. Those have been very, very fruitful for us right now. And those that say, well, I'll probably relist with my agent. Well, then we're taking that KCM slide,
those stats,
and we're including that when we do the CMA that we're sending to them.
That's genius.
And we're saying, hey, and by the way, look, I get it. I understand if you want to relist with your agent. Look, I love and I appreciate as someone who appreciates loyalty, but I have to give you the statistics that
You
most
wouldn't be
agents,
doing your job if you didn't.
yeah,
Yeah.
most agents have a type of marketing plan that they do every single time. And if you want different results, sometimes you got to do different things. And as you can see with this statistic, you've got a 40% better chance of getting your house sold, whether it's with me or someone else,
Yeah.
if you relist with a different agent than the one you did previously.
That is great, tying that CMA a day video in with the expired. I
Yeah.
love that. I feel like we got a bonus strategy here.
So yeah, but that's what we're doing right now, and that's where we're seeing some opportunities. That's the stat we're using because it's just so timely for those that are trying to generate some business through expired listings. And look, I think that is going to be a story that we're going to continue to see become more and more prevalent as we go forward. Is the opportunities in expired listings.
Very, very cool. Jimmy, man, thank you for carving out some time to collaborate with Cole. And I really appreciate you opening up your playbook to share not just a secret, but secrets. I mean, you shared at least 2 phenomenal strategies that I think our friends can just execute on like immediately. So, and you've made an intentional impact on your community, and
Well, thank you,
I really appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
You're my boy, Blue. You're my boy. Thank you, Cole, for everything you're doing too, man. And listen, don't steal our blessings. If somebody's watching this and you got something from Cole or me, let us know. That's the soul food, so to speak, that keeps us going. So please, if you got something good out of it, follow Cole. Subscribe to his podcast and to his YouTube channel, because obviously that's what helps move this on out to more people.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks, Cole.